right, welcome back to the On the House podcast. I'm Joey Hauser, along with my brother Sam Hauser, and we got a super important fill-in today. No big house, but I think we got just as good, if not better. We got our big sister Nicki Hauser joining us for the episode. So, Nicki, we've talked about you a lot in different episodes. We want to officially welcome you to the On the House podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome. It's great to have you.
News on the street is I might be the most requested guest.
Yeah.
You never know.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, like I said, you've come up a lot in different episodes. We'll take like a real deep dive into your athletic background, kind of the different spots you've dipped your hand in a little bit. Another side note, I think you're the first guest we've had that is going to join us for the whole episode. Usually we have them come halfway through, but
Might be right. I think Trevor might have stayed on.
Trevor might have. But today is March 19th. It's our 10th podcast. March Madness is well on its way. It's Selection Sunday today. Super big day for some Michigan State Spartans and all the fans. Virginia, not so much. They're getting ready for next year, though.
Building back up.
Yeah. Before we get started, one shout out. I got shout out today. We got Jay Gaininger. So Jay Gaininger, Sam's godfather, actually. He was our dad's college roommate, college teammate, and he came to 2 of my games this week. He made the trip. They live in York, Pennsylvania. Came to my game, him and his wife in Delaware, our first one in Wilmington. And him, his 2 sons, his daughter's boyfriend, they just came to me and Nicki are in D.C. They came to our game in D.C. So shout out to Jay for making the trip up to both those games. I know it wasn't necessarily a quick drive, but yeah, I really appreciate it. Always good to see some familiar faces, and so yeah. But let's get right into this thing. I mean, would you have anything else to add, or what?
No, I'm not really.
Yeah. Well, clearly, me and Nicki are here together. We're in DC, but we'll kind of give a recent update. And Nicki, I don't know if you've listened to our podcast, but this is kind of how we like to start it. We fill each other in on what's going on. It works out even better for me and you that we're in the same room recording this. But other than that, what else has been going on in your life? Or what do you got coming up?
What we got? Well, we had a big week. I'm the director of ops for the wrestling team at UVA as well as the volleyball team. We're deep in our season.
Yep.
Had our ACC tournament last week. 1 ACC champ this year and 4 NCAA qualifiers. Leaving for Philly Tuesday morning. I'll be in Philly until Sunday for NCAA tournaments. Should be a few good matchups there for our crew. Be driving the SUVs with the wrestlers in it. So should be a fun week.
Where's the NCAA tournament at for wrestling?
Philadelphia this year. Switches every year. It's always Midwest to the East Coast. So last year was Kansas City. Great location last year, but it's in Philly this year.
That'll be fun. You said 4 qualifiers?
Yeah, we got 4 guys. We got 125. 141, 149, and 165 for any wrestling fans out there.
How do you
let's get some hardware.
You can qualify as a team, right? Technically, or no?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's like an individual team sport, so every conference gets a certain number of automatic qualifiers, kind of like other sports. So depending on your weight class, the ACC is really good. So we had I think 39 slots this year for automatic qualifiers, and it varies by each weight. In the I think it was maybe 3 for the low weights, and then some of the upper weights, there's 5 automatic qualifiers. So you got to finish in the top 5. Some of our weight classes, you finish in the top 3. But then if you don't get an automatic qualifier, it's similar to basketball, and it's your RPI, your record, your rankings go into the open bids for each weight class. So yeah, I got that. That'll be a good week coming up.
Yeah, sure. Awesome. Sam, before you give your update, I think you should fill us in on the new haircut. And I just want to congratulate you on coming to the good side, the buzz cut side.
Yeah, a young Sam Hauser is back.
Yeah.
But I got it cut off. I went to this cancer event that raises money for cancer research that was put on in Boston. So show up, get your head shaved for a good cause. Then they raised about $3.5 million for cancer research. So it was a good event, good cause. And honestly, I kind of like it. Way less maintenance. Tell you what, it's going a little bit, but better than I thought it would be, honestly. So
They got ways to fix that. So
Yeah, I might have to just go to Latvia with Kristaps next summer. But yeah, that's the new haircut. That's the reason we got it. But I think it might stick.
Hey, I think it looks good.
I
I mean,
appreciate
it's
it.
not like a huge difference from your hair wasn't like that long, but
Well, I haven't had a buzz cut since it would have been like 2015,
yeah, it's
probably.
been a
So
while.
it's been a while.
10 years.
It's
Yeah.
been a while.
What else you guys got going? I mean, you guys were just on a little bit of a road trip, I know, but
Yeah, we just so we had long homestand here. Just had a quick back to back, Miami, Brooklyn. Now we're home for one game, and then we're on the road for 2.5 weeks out west. But let's see, Teddy had his 6-month birthday.
wow.
One half.
Got him a little half, a birthday hat that said 1/2 on it. Got some teeth are coming in up top now, so that's been fun. What else here? That's really it. Just kind of just had, like I said, like a homestand as of lately, and that's really it. Nothing too crazy out of the ordinary.
Well, I don't want to speak on behalf of the big house, but I know he was really busy with winter sports. Those just got wrapped up. He might be taking our mom on a little date night dinner. That may be why he's going to join us later, potentially. We'll see. But good for him. We always give him his private time. But for me, we were on the road for a while here, just finishing up here in DC. So it was good to have Nicki drive up from Charlottesville, not that far, to spend a couple days, spend a whole weekend actually. Been to DC a lot, especially playing the G League team here, but I never really explored it. I didn't take that ninth grade trip that everybody takes or whatever. So me and Nicki actually went and checked out all the monuments, all the different tourist attractions. So got to see all those. We walked, geez, like 5 miles. Thought about going to the Library of Congress, checking, see if the president's book was available.
National treasure.
X by 2, 2, 3, 4. But
I was disappointed they didn't show us the secret tunnels when we were at the White House earlier this year.
Yeah, we didn't quite get that access here. We were just kind of were bystanders. But in terms of G League season, we're almost done here. We only got like, I want to say we go home for a couple games. I think we have like 4 or 5 games left. Right now, we're kind of on the cut line here for potentially making the playoffs. So just trying to finish strong. And we have not recorded an episode since February. I want to say I finished my February book. I said I was going to do a book a month. It was The Cubs Way. It's a good book. You know, it was talked about their championship run in 2016. It's kind of how they built it all together. Theo Epstein, who was Red Sox president or GM for a while, came over. So that was interesting. You know, obviously we're Brewers fans, so at the start I was kind of like, am I going to like this book or not? But it turned out to be a good book. March book, it's an Aaron Rodgers book. So we'll update you guys at the end of the month. Once I
It's
started it but never finished it. So I was like, 100 less pages.
Yeah. Speaking on Aaron Rodgers, apparently him and the Vikings possibly gonna get him in Minnesota.
Ooh.
Sounds
like he's following in someone's footsteps. Just saying.
Just want to say it's a really easy birthday present for either of you guys if you were thinking about ideas for me. So, but let's get into some sports. I mean, obviously we said Selection Sunday today. We'll start with Michigan State. I mean, they're a 2 seed. They got Bryant in Cleveland, so they had a heck of a run at the end of the year. Came up short in the Big Ten tournament, but team that plays in the Big Ten tournament championship seems like they always kind of fizzle out first couple weekends. So maybe it was a good thing they lost. Potentially could play Marquette round of 32. That'll be interesting. But
rematch from a couple of years back.
Yeah. So we got a 2 seed in the South region. Could be coming to Atlanta if they make it Sweet 16. So that'd be awesome to see. But any early Final Four picks? I mean, I know it just happened.
I'm trying to look at the bracket here.
I would have to look as well, actually.
Let's see.
If anyone wants my Final Four, it's probably not very accurate. But, I picked all the.
Let me guess. You got Michigan State in your Final Four.
Well, my bracket is called Izzo Emergency Contact, so I had to pick Michigan State to win it all, obviously.
Honestly, like looking at the regional, they have a very winnable. Like they could go to the Final Four for sure.
I think St. John's.
I got the
I think I would take St. John's in my Final Four as one of the teams.
I'm gonna go with. Or yeah, you can do all yours, Sam.
I'll go Michigan State, St. John's. It's tough. I haven't watched a lot of college basketball this year,
Yeah.
so
I just know the SEC is loaded.
yeah.
They got like 4 teams that could go to the Final Four.
Yeah. We're gonna say shoot, I don't even really know. I'll just say Kentucky, and then we're gonna go with Duke. So not very. This is just out of the
Yeah.
blue. Haven't done any studying because I got to fill out our family bracket. I'm trying to.
I would probably go Alabama, Michigan State, Florida. I think Florida might be the best team in the nation.
Florida's good this year.
And probably Tennessee. Tennessee's a hot team right now. But I think Florida's going to win it all. I think they're the best team in the country.
I think, yeah. Who do you think the first 1 seed is to lose? I think it's between Auburn and Houston.
Auburn, I can see Auburn losing in the Elite Eight to Michigan State. Houston,
I was thinking maybe before that.
Good. If anyone was wondering my Final Four before any opinions from you guys, I picked Michigan State, St. John's,
Good
Alabama, and Tennessee.
All right.
Not that I've watched any of them play extensively this year, but
interesting stat. They just said it on TV. I want to say it's been like 10 years in a row or something like that. An 11 seed has won a game.
Interesting.
NC State went to the Final Four last year, 11 seed. So
hell of a run.
You can pretty much just bet money that either VCU, I'm sure there's an 11 seed playing game. VCU is one of them.
Yeah, UNC and San Diego State are on Michigan State's side of the bracket
playing games. Drake, an 11 seed.
Drake. Good. Texas and Xavier are another playing game for the 11 seed.
Yeah.
I do think Illinois, they're a team I think that could, if they're at their best, I think they can make a run.
They're talented. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are like that. They're talented. How about UNC getting into the tournament? But like, a team like that with good guard play, I mean, they got those 2 guards. Like, they could for sure get to the second weekend. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Interesting. Me and Nicki were just talking about it. They're the regionals. They got Atlanta State Farm as a South region. I think old Golden State, I want to say is the Chase Center for the West.
That's where they play now.
There's a new one? Okay, I don't know. Yeah.
They used to play at Oracle, I think is what
Oracle. Yeah. So they're playing at Chase Center. The Midwest is Lucas Oil. So, I mean, I think they might be cutting it in half. That's what they did for our Big Ten tournament, like 3-4 years during COVID. They put up a huge tarp, and it was like half of the field was the court rather than the whole Final Four. But then the East region is the Prudential Center, where Seton Hall plays. It's a brutal arena.
Yeah, that's not a good. Yeah, I don't like that one.
I feel bad for who's over there, but it surprised me.
Yeah, you see, Milwaukee's hosting the first 2 rounds.
Yeah,
at the Hauser.
If you were going there, I would be hyped up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
no,
we'll see what happens. I mean, it's always an exciting time, and it's here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. On a sadder note, Virginia coaching search.
Yeah,
right now, a lot of murmurs from the UVA alum that they should have kept the coaching search within the Tony Bennett umbrella from the alum, but they're going outside the umbrella.
Shaka Smart, somebody said. Nicki, did you say that?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, there's rumors of that. I think it's going to be that Odom guy from is that VCU?
The unquote top choice right now.
What about like Fran McCaffrey? Where do you think you think he's still going to be coaching somewhere?
I don't know.
That's the weird one. I mean, I got recruited by Coach McCaffrey, and I always loved him as a coach. So, but
be an interesting one. I don't know, but Yeah, so Virginia officially like kind of turning a full new page now for the basketball program, which is going to be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, you build up a brand like Tony Bennett has, and you know,
If we're gonna keep the pillars,
yeah,
Yeah,
they're pretty staple.
that's like the staple of Virginia basketball right there.
it's always so weird to kind of see. Like, I mean, coming when we were at Marquette, and you try to build a culture, and you see kind of how things are done. I mean, our coach that we played for there wasn't there like incredibly long, but then seeing Marquette years after that, like everything's different. There's not the same people there. There's maybe a couple, but they're I don't know, things on the walls are different, or their locker room is different. So it's always just
Yeah.
kind of interesting, especially with a coach like Tony Bennett, who's been there and had success for multiple years. It'll be just kind of like different to see.
Yeah,
Do you
for
get
sure.
that? Do you get that in the NBA? I mean, you had Joe Mazzulla for what, 3 years now? Like, do you build any
Yeah,
like
third year.
culture, even though it's a lot different setting?
I mean, yeah, I guess it was different from Ime Udoka to Joe. Like just stuff that like around the facility, like there's different stuff on the walls, and
Yeah,
Ime wasn't really kind of like that, where he was just kind of like basketball, and Joe and the people who work within the organization are more so like there's a wall in our facility by the meal room that's all like family pictures of just like Emmy, Teddy, and I, or the Cornette family, that type of stuff. So they try to incorporate a lot of different things. I don't know, keep stuff fresh on your brain, I guess.
yeah. Does it come more from like the front office? Is that where a lot where the culture and things like that are kind of maintained? I mean, because the NBA, there's coaching change like crazy.
Yeah, I think it's more so coaching staff driven in terms of like the culture,
Yeah,
because they're more hands on every day. I think the front office is more of like trying to place people that kind of fit what you're trying to do.
yeah. We can kind of jump right into it. I mean, Celtics, you guys officially locked up a playoff spot. I believe. It's
Yeah, we
crazy to get
did.
to be that time. That's only like a month away. Sam, you had a huge night a couple nights ago. 9 threes at one game, seven and a quarter. What's rolling through your head when something like that's going on?
The basket felt a lot bigger. Kind of every
Yeah,
shot that I threw up there felt like it was going in. And it's nice when teammates are like actively seeking you out to get you a shot in moments like that, especially when you're hot and you're feeling it. So, yeah, it was fun. That's for sure. See a bunch go through and uh, get it rolling there for a little while. It was good.
it's not often you see a Hauser throw up like a little celebration, like three sign. But when we do, we're probably rolling.
Well, yeah, I saved it for I hit a three with like a minute left to kind of put the game away. So in that moment, it felt like something was needed.
We had just gotten to wherever we started our road trip at, and I had just gotten into the hotel, and I turned the TV on. I actually didn't know you guys were playing, and so I just turned the TV on, and there was a conference tournament game going on as I'm kind of like getting all my stuff organized, and I see the ESPN ticker and it's Celtics, whoever you guys are playing, Hauser 28 points. I was like, what's going on? Like, how come nobody's texted me or anything? I turn it on, you knock down like another three right when I turned it on. But that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. That was a fun night for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like seeing Gilgis Alexander up close?
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. I just feel like he's not talked about a ton. I mean, I know everybody's kind of pushing the MVP for him, but like, what does he do so well? Because I feel like he kind of does everything.
I mean, he's got
I
a lot
mean,
of style in his outfits.
Yeah.
he does have a
Big
great tunnel
fashion
fits.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what makes him good is he can literally go by anybody at any point in the game.
Gets the free throw.
Like he doesn't even match up on. He can kind of just whoever's on him. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna go by you, and he usually does. And he's really good finisher around the rim, and change of pace is crazy. Obviously, he has a really good handle. but he can kind of score at all three levels and get to wherever he wants, whenever he wants. That's what makes him really good, in my opinion.
I guess what's interesting to see is like he's putting up these huge numbers. He's not shooting like a ton of threes, right? I mean, he's not like just
No, it's a lot of mid range, a lot at the rim. Like he gets to the free throw line at will.
yeah. People always, you know,
But in terms of MVP race, I still think Jokic should get it. People are really pushing Shea though, but I don't. This is Jokic's best year of his career, and he's already won 3 MVPs.
that one game he had. Oh man, the
So-
2020 game. I mean, unexplainable. People don't appreciate it.
Yeah, it's what he's doing is pretty impressive. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we can talk a little NFL if we want. I mean, the draft's coming up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's awesome.
Exciting.
Yeah. Nicki,
You
any
might
predictions
have.
on
So your
where
season
Roger-
will be done by then. Maybe you could
Yeah, I might pop
sneak
over
out there. That'd be fun.
Sure, we got to hook up.
Yeah, someone. I know, like Tommy and Matt usually go each year. I'm sure you could link on with that, but it's exciting.
Nicki,
Packers signed a couple
predictions
guys.
any predictions on where Rodgers might end up, Nicki?
Well, we touched on a little bit, but like, how could you not follow in Brett Favre's footsteps and just? I mean, he's the greatest ever. He's probably follow and go to the Vikings.
Greatest ever at what? Interceptions? Throwing interceptions? That's proven. Yes.
Yeah, he could be the greatest ever at interceptions and still be the greatest ever.
Well, while Brett Favre was playing, he set the record for most yards ever in a career, and most touchdowns ever in a career, and most interceptions in a career.
I think
While he was playing.
I would take Eli Manning's career over Brett Favre's, I think.
Come on. 500 quarterback.
But Eli Manning didn't have as many headlines as Brett Favre did outside of football. He keeps things exciting.
Yeah, he does.
I mean-
Keeps you on your toes.
I mean,
Have you
that
seen
guy's
Brett
fighting
Favre's
Parkinson's right now,
Instagram
though.
posts?
Yeah, he's
He's
fighting
got a
Parkinson's.
horrible social media game, but
Yeah. Well,
posts great videos of throwback clips.
Yeah, I like those. They're old highlights. Like, he's
I wanna
just
re- I
reliving
wanna
the glory
read one.
he's
days.
just relishing it. I would play to your strengths as well, you know?
I'm gonna let
I
me
might start
see.
doing that. Got any like middle school tapes of me? I might start just posting them.
Let's see. His last post was a clip of him
What do you
leading a
think?
comeback against the Vikings, and it said, "Not everything I threw was a rocket. There was some touch on some of those balls." ...
He does a lot of shout outs too. He shouts out a lot of old guys he played with or played against that he had a good time with or just doing well.
I think as a teammate, he's probably more loved by his teammates than Aaron Rodgers' teammates.
Wait a second. Hold on. So one of our trainers here, Steve Lintern, great guy. He had one of his buddies drive up who I believe was an intern or a trainer for a couple seasons with Green Bay back in like 2007, 2008. And we sat and talked for a little bit. I met him when we were in our last stop before this. And he had some great Aaron Rodgers stories. I can't, say what they were, but all I'm going to say is that he said Aaron Rodgers was beloved by all of his teammates.
That
Not
doesn't
all
mean
of 'em.
Brett Favre was.
Well, I'm just saying it's a firsthand experience. Like he knew what was going on. He was there kind of when the Rodgers Brett Favre thing was going on. So
I mean, just because Aaron was beloved doesn't mean Brett wasn't also beloved.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
But-
okay. Well,
But-
we'll get you that for your birthday. We'll
Yes,
get you a
yeah.
New Jersey.
thank you. There's been some big free agent signings though. A couple of guys going different spots. Devontae, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, receivers. But
Yep. Joey
NFL's gonna
Bosa
have a-
going to the where's he going?
who's that?
Joey Bosa? He's
Is he
going
somewhere else.
to the Bills. Yeah, he was a
Bills,
free agent.
yeah.
I think he signed with the Bills. He's like
A
that's
couple
a big
different
name, right
shakeups. So the NFL does I'll give them credit. They do an unbelievable job at keeping people looped in for a calendar year. There's like a week in between the Super Bowl and the Combine or something like that. Like, and then you're wrapped up in it. Like it's
there.
just in time.
The arrival.
The big
big
house
house.
is on.
Made an
You
appearance.
hear us?
7 diamonds. Right here.
Good on you, Dad. I was just I was actually just gonna ask Nikki or Sam if they had any wise words they'd like to share, but since you just came on, you got anything?
I do. I got a couple wise words. Be nice to your sisters if you have a sister, but more importantly, it's tournament time. So wise words are your whole goal right now this time of year is to try to make sure you have practice the next day. So it's survive in advance. So wise words are don't leave anything left for assumption or for granted. You have to go out and complete. Don't have to be special. Do your job.
Yeah,
There
like
it is.
that. Survive in advance. Where'd you take?
We did a food review tonight at Materos.
Good spot.
They're a little salty. It's a little salty there, but it's good pizza.
Yeah, we started with the meatballs and garlic bread. Very good sauce, extra sauce. Garlic bread was perfectly done. And then we went with a split pizza because I don't like black olives. So Mom did the her side and I did my side, and it was fantastic.
Sounds pretty
Nikki's got the Skyhawk shirt on today. I like that.
Yeah, well, I was at Joey's game, so I had my Celtics sweatshirt on, but
Yeah.
I had both teams.
Yeah.
Got to represent where you're
Honestly,
at. Yeah.
today.
We took a tough one though, but we had a great fan crew there today. Nikki, the Ginningers, it was unbelievable. So, but now that you're here, Dad, it's perfect. Let's kind of dive into what we came to talk about. Nicki Hauser. So Nicki, I mean, we'll kind of start off like you're the head of the snake. I would say you definitely kept me and Sam in check growing up. Probably more so me, but you're often regarded as the best athlete in the family. I'd like to dispute that, but it's true.
So would Mom.
Nikki's got the accolades and the resume to show.
She's got the wall. The wall's right over here. All the accolades are right there.
Yep.
Oh, only one of us has a wall of fame in the Hauser household.
That's right. It's true.
Right. You were a stud, 3 different sports in high school, 11 out of 12 varsity letters, which I think we've mentioned before. Fortunately, somebody on this podcast kept you from getting 12 out of 12.
It's because I took the DC ninth grade
Yeah,
trip.
it is why, yeah.
I missed the playoff game.
Missed the
So I
playoff game for the
decided to
DC trip.
Decided to go to DC with JD Gavin, and I missed the playoff high school.
JD Stenell,
No.
Sorry. Yeah, well, it was JD
Yeah.
Gavin then.
best
Not
best
to mention
manager ever.
Yes. Not to mention, though, 11 out of 12 varsity letters at one of the biggest high schools in the state of Wisconsin. And we obviously are known for athletics at Spash, where we all went. So makes it even more impressive. But talked about your college decision. We know it was a little bit of a late one. I don't think you quite knew exactly what your future was at the time, but you took a leap of faith and moved away from home and went out east, which we all think was really kind of like new for us because we kind of were, home based, Midwest. I mean, we traveled for sports and AAU trips, but it definitely was a big jump. So yeah, I mean, we'll kind of, leave it to you here to kind of give us your timeline. I mean, what went into that decision and kind of making that jump to go into college to play collegiate volleyball?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with I maybe applied to one school in Wisconsin. Didn't want anything to do with high school by the end of it. I was ready to get the heck out of there. I was just ready for the next thing. I think Marquette was the only school I applied to, not to play any sports. I wanted to just go to college at first, and then it was probably towards the end of basketball season. I decided I kind of missed volleyball and wanted to maybe look at playing volleyball in the next year. So definitely probably a pretty normal recruiting process for most athletes. You guys have a pretty rare recruiting process. Most people go through it, I think, how I did a little bit more of you put together a few videos. Dad used to montage my club volleyball games.
I remember
It's
that.
probably an old YouTube channel of Nicki setting Nicki right side, like number 10 or whatever I was. So then I did a couple of D3 visits down, one over to, oh gosh, Dad, where did we go? In Minneapolis.
We went and watched Duluth play Concordia St. Paul. I do remember that. And then you went to Augustana down the Quad Cities. So
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Down the Quad Cities. Did Augustana. Went to MSOE down in Milwaukee with Mom.
Remember that?
Then I got, I think, a phone call from Lisa Barbaro at Southern Connecticut. She just saw one of my awesome YouTube montages from Dave Hauser and said, hey, she was the softball coach at Southern Connecticut as well. So she called me to play volleyball and softball out there. So
Nicki was an all-state softball player, not to
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
first team all state.
first team all-state.
So she called me, set up a visit. We actually left Stevens Point, I think, at 1 a.m. because there was a snowstorm coming through. So we had to drive down to Milwaukee. We won our second conference tournament in a row with the Spash Girls basketball team in 2013, that would have been. Drove down to Milwaukee, flew out to Southern Connecticut, did a visit out there. I was sleep deprived the whole time. I didn't even really like the visit. Lisa Barbaro is an incredibly wild driver. Didn't know if we were going to make it to campus from LaGuardia. Me and Mom and Grandma Firman came along, and I think we're on the edge of our seat. I went home. Ed said, I don't think I'm ever going there. I ended up going there. Dad and I made a little pro-con list of, this is like 3 or 4 schools. These ranked like top 5 things that are most important to me of location, playing time, location, program, location. I'd be Southern Connecticut won in our rankings of those. And I don't think I'll ever probably live in Connecticut or that close to New York City just because, I don't know, it's really expensive, but it's pretty cool. So I decided, well, why not? I'm going to go live out there for 4 years of college and see what it's like, get a whole different side of the country. So it's kind of what went into that
Pizza,
process.
Great
capital of
pizza.
the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
best pizza
New
ever.
Haven style, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when you decided to go there. I literally thought, I'm like, are we ever gonna see Nicki again? Just because it was so different than what we were accustomed to, and
I
Yeah.
definitely
we just
cried.
thought like it was so new and different that it was
This
just
is
like kind of
before-
confusing.
This is before like iPhones were a big thing, so it wasn't like FaceTime was this normal
Yeah.
thing when I went to
I
college.
thought we were, didn't we Skype?
Yeah, we probably Skyped. I got an iPhone when I first got out there because everyone was like, "Well, you gotta get an iPhone. That's the T. We like the iMessage." I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't think we FaceTime maybe till like my junior year because
Yeah.
you guys didn't have an iPhone either.
No,
I never even
Skyped.
had it.
I didn't have, yeah.
I had
But
a
it
flip
was so
phone,
much-
I think.
It was so much different. Like I never thought, it never went through my head like, where's Nicki gonna go to school? Is it gonna be close to home or something like that? Like I didn't think you were gonna go to like UW Stevens Point or something. But I don't know. I never thought to think she could be halfway across country. I never really see her, but that was tough right away. But
One of my favorite things about Southern Connecticut has nothing to do with your volleyball team or your coaches. It's the fact that you convinced Grandma and Grandpa Hauser to bring your bike out there. And they brought your bike out in the back of their Suburban. And I think 4 years later, we unlocked that bike on the same bike rack and brought it home. And I don't think you ever used it.
Did it once or twice. I thought I would use it more, and then I figured out I could ride the bus downtown or ride the bus to like the mall and go shopping. And I just didn't need it as much as I thought I was going to need the bike. I had friends.
Grandma
with
and
cars
Grandpa
who
also
were pretty
found
nice.
a really good Applebee's out there too.
Yeah, I think we went to TGI Fridays. Actually, stepped out of the back.
There's so many good places to eat out there.
Yeah, where did we go when we were out there that one time? Was it Pepe's? Frank
Pepe's,
Pepe's?
Frank
I think.
Pepe's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That place.
It's been voted America's pizza capital,
Yeah.
and it is.
Yeah.
it's been.
And they're all those places are all like the same street, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a little Italy in New Haven. It's
Yeah.
just like
Dave,
big
that's Dave Portnoy's capital.
Yeah. Well, then
Sally's
Yeah.
and Pepe's.
they'll have their own little soda too. Birchwood soda. What's it called? Birch beer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Did you experience at all like I mean, it's still America. Did you experience at all like a culture shock when you went out there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they do a few things differently.
Well, it's fast paced, I'm sure, right? You know.
Yeah, I never thought I had an accent until everyone thought I said bag completely wrong. They don't. A lot of people don't get their license really till they're like 17 or 18 years old
Yeah.
out there. They thought it was pretty crazy. I was driving a car around when I was 15 and a half, get my
Yeah.
license at 16. They call the liquor store the Packy, the package store. Sam,
I just got
Jumbo.
Jumbotron
Yeah.
Jumbotron terminology from out east. We got asked what packy means. Got it wrong. Nikki texted me right after the game. I would have gotten that. That means corner.
We
It's
call
like-
it quick trip.
Yeah. Or we look for wherever Yogi's working.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic out there. The highways there's no freeway that looks like the Midwest. It's
No.
like tight highways, really short on ramps. Like you gotta like bust it to get on the highway. That's a little bit different. I think some of their sports seasons are different in high school as well, and they go to high school until like mid-June because they have so many snow days. They get snow every year, but like not like Wisconsin where we go to school. It's just an off day.
Yeah. Tight streets too. I'm sure it's hard to just makes travel a lot. Midwest, there's like 10 different streets you gotta plow and you're good.
Yeah, and every state's small, which I really like. Is you're in a new state like every 30 miles. In my conference, we had 15 schools, and I got to go to like 12 different states up on the East Coast. Just to play.
That 30 miles, though, could take a little bit of time some days.
Yeah, I think Dad and I, technically from LaGuardia to New Haven, you could make it an hour and a half. It's one straight highway, 95 north, but it could take 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
95 north is not fun.
No.
Now,
Yeah.
in terms of volleyball, like what was the hardest adjustment from high school moving into the collegiate level for you? Especially, we've talked a little bit about like that first summer of college and how tough it is, or that first preseason you have.
Yeah, I think one of the tough parts was I didn't play 3 sports anymore. That was really different. I think I probably was I was better at all my sports because I played different sports so much in high school. Everyone's bigger, faster, and stronger no matter what collegiate level you're at. Everything's faster. The game is so fast for the first month of preseason. I remember calling Mom and it just was frustrating because I'm like, God, I can't. Like, it's just fast. Like I can't keep up. And then until you really get used to it, it slows down. I mean, it's the same game. It's just everyone's bigger, faster, stronger. We weren't playing D2 is awesome because you can be 5'9" to 5'11" and play any position. So I got to play a little bit of everything, but everyone's just really athletic, like 5'10" kids. So that part's a little different. Division I, we weren't going up against 6'4" kids every day, but everyone's really athletic. So you get to play a lot of positions.
Yeah, I feel like the skill level at the D2 level is probably
doesn't drop at all.
Every player is probably so much. I feel like because you kind of play every position, like you said, so you're probably the skill level. It's kind of like D3 basketball where everybody's really fundamentally sound.
Yeah, I remember my first summer, like getting towards the end of it, I called up Mom and I was like, I think I'm gonna have the red shirt. Honestly, it just was like you said, fast. Everybody was strong. I was coming off of a pretty serious injury, so that was in the back of my head. But it's a big adjustment period at any level, any sport.
Yeah, I would say Panther Fitness really got me ready though. I didn't feel like the lifts were brand new. Panther Fitness really did a good job at Splash during the summer. I don't think that many high schoolers got to lift that much and do different workout programs. So I felt pretty good about the weight room side of things, but volleyball, I had to catch up there the first couple weeks.
Yeah, those first couple, man.
What would you say is your best moment or memory from your time at Southern Connecticut State? We can do volleyball and just
volleyball. Oh, my best time. Well,
volleyball and student
and socially. I was trying to get the word.
Well, I mean, I don't know if many people know this, but our 2017 volleyball team was the first team to ever make the NCAA tournament, and we won in our first round. So we made the round of 32. And ended up losing to our crosstown rival, New Haven. We played them 3 times that year, and we lost that last one. So that was pretty awesome to be part of the first ever team. Lisa Barbaro, who's still there, she's been there for, probably 20 years now, I think. So it's pretty cool to be part of that, and she's still at Southern Connecticut. Definitely a highlight. Another highlight probably maybe had a lot of fun on my birthday one year when Dad came out to watch me play. But the next day, I mean, it's typically a college rule is probably 24-hour rule. I don't know if everyone follows that, but it was my birthday weekend, and Dad watched me play Lemoyne, and I think it was maybe my junior year or second redshirt junior, I don't remember. And both of our setters got hurt. And this year I had been playing outside the whole year. And Lisa said, "You gotta play setter right side. Throw you in." I ended up getting a triple double on my birthday, and I'm a leader of Southern Connecticut's triple doubles all time. That's
go.
a fun
Yeah.
fact. It's usually
Look it up in the books.
assists, digs, and kills. I don't have a ton. It might be 3 of them that I got over my time there. It's a hard stat line to get.
The best stat line that weekend, though, was I watched a mouse run across your apartment floor.
Oh, yeah. Well, we maybe had
I didn't know you had a pet.
in our
There was
apartment.
no
The nicest
no
place.
pets in that apartment, I thought. And then I saw this little guy go screaming across, and then, yeah, it's all good. He left. He left us alone.
Top 2 Southern Connecticut memories, I would say volleyball related. Yeah.
Well, you sure made a lot of good friends because I know me and Joey and our family have met a lot of them throughout these last few years. So
Yeah.
that's always fun to, when you can make lifelong friends in college like that.
I suppose one of those people are listening, so I'd be remiss if I didn't say Joey Lineberger is actually kind of a son of ours. Mom and I, we've took him on our wing, so.
He can really put together a girl too, man.
Yeah, I still talk to most all of my great friends from Southern to this day.
I'd like to shout out to Joey Lineberger, too, as your bunkmate from that visit to Wisconsin is now back playing basketball in Australia.
Yeah.
Harry Frowling.
Shout out Harry Frowling.
At it.
Yeah. Well, kind of moving on a little bit here. I mean, we got a lot of things we can cover because one thing I really admire about you is you've kind of like dipped your hand on a lot of different things, coaching wise. Working with operations, different schools you've been at. So why don't you kind of give us the full timeline of the stops you were at, places you've been, up to kind of where you are right now?
Yeah, so after I graduated from Southern Connecticut, I graduated in December. So I redshirted a year and then so I was there for 4.5 years. And I switched my major like 4 times. So I had to do that last semester of school anyways. Graduated December, then I went over to Briarcliff University in Sioux City, Iowa. Got to grad assistant coach the men's and women's volleyball team there and get my master's in, I think, sport management leadership, something along those lines. Didn't really know what I wanted to do after college right away, so figured I got a lot of coaches in our family, wanted to probably work in sports, so try that. Figured out I probably didn't really want to coach after that, but I didn't have a bad time. I just didn't think coaching was maybe the path I was going to go down. That's when you guys started. Well, Sam had been in college for a year, I think, at that 1.5 years or so.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Mom. I'm like, who are all these other people on their bench? That like, what are they doing? There's
A lot of coaches.
Division 2 level. We have a head coach and a part-time assistant. And if you're lucky, you get like maybe someone who volunteers a couple times a week to just come in and hit balls.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what all these other jobs were. You could do a part of a team, but not be the coach. So I learned that you have like your academic advisor, your ops, video, player personnel, neutral, like all these other.
They got them all the way down to handing out equipment.
Yeah. So I mean, Division 2, we literally took our own equipment over to the equipment room. We put it in there and then we picked it up. So I had no clue. So that's when it kind of piqued my interest of, all right, well, my time at Briarcliff was coming. I was graduating, it's coming to an end, and I still was like, well, I mean, I don't know what my next move is. So took a bunch of vacation that summer, called up John Vollendorf at Spash. He needed an attendance auditor. So I said, well, yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'll figure it out. So I had an interview for that and got to work in the front office of our high school. Basically just meet with kids about truancy, work with the guidance counselors a ton, talk to a ton of parents, not always great conversations. And then they also needed a 9th grade C team basketball coach, so I got to do that. I would say if I'm going to coach a sport, probably basketball. It's like a lot easier to coach than volleyball.
Was this a co-head coach, or were you technically head coach?
Want some clarification on that?
Well, I'm going to say co-head coach. We knew our roles. I was putting together the practice plan. I was putting together the communication with the parents. I called the school buses, made sure we had a bus and sending them email of our schedule. DJ was in charge of yelling. I just don't have a great projection voice. And then whenever we needed the 10th man on the floor, that was DJ's job. So
Player
going
coach.
Oh, he's a
around.
player
Yeah,
coach.
he's player coach.
Yeah, well, typically you're labeled the head coach if you're doing the buses and all the grunt work. That's coaching. So I think you were the head coach.
Yeah, I was teaching the shooting.
Smart, real smart.
Yeah.
We had the head. Yeah.
Ninth grade C team. I'm assuming you practice a lot of patience that year. But I mean, what things did you learn from that experience? Because
Yeah.
there's tons of things you probably learn from coaching a ninth grade team.
Yeah, well, I guess first was you got to find all of their strengths because this is probably the last year they're ever going to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just trying to piece together the little bits of basketball talent these kids have to figure out how to make it work and like run circle and box out of the end.
Circle.
That year, I think DJ and I played them maybe once or twice. It was me and DJ versus three of them, so 2-on-3. We still beat them, so we learned. Loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly was really all I needed to bring on a road trip to keep these kids happy.
Yeah.
They just need a good snack on the way.
Solid
home.
choices.
Whoever gets the most shots up in ninth grade basketball is probably going to win. So the goal is always get the most shots up.
That's it. They say
That's
that
pretty
in the NBA.
indicative of
Yeah.
the lot of levels
Yeah.
of play
Yeah.
to this day.
Yeah.
Keep shooting.
You guys were advanced analytics at ninth grade.
Hey, and
Jacob's
Nicki, to be
basketball.
fair, your kid shot at every basket during the game sometimes.
Yeah, I would say the last thing I learned was you always remind your team what hoop we are on in each half of the game because maybe we had one kid who finally, broke through, scored his first basket of the season. And, it's for the other team on the wrong basket. But, God, he came down clapping. He was so happy. And I said, Ryan, we're actually on the other hoop.
You gotta still celebrate it though.
He had great form. I was there at that game. It was nothing but net.
Yeah, if anyone ever watched that team play, I just want you to know that we did win 5 games that year. I'm not sure how. It must have been the coaching.
Don't
Out
forget.
effort.
Yeah. Yeah. So shout out DJ Droner. We powered through that season.
So after your year at Spash, what was your next step in the timeline?
Yes. North Dakota State had a grad assistant director of ops volleyball position open. And I was like, well, this looks pretty interesting. I unfortunately was going to have to go back to grad school after I just finished grad school a year earlier. But I liked school, so it wasn't the worst thing ever. And shout out to Dave Hauser and UMD connections because the Lopez sisters at NDSU have huge respect for Jim Booz over at UMD, who's their head volleyball coach that I did a few visits or a visit with, did a bunch of camps up there, but they have a really good relationship and connection with him. So that's how I connected with them. Got a phone call from Kelly Lopez, talked to her for a while and decided I was going to go to North Dakota State and be volleyball director of ops. I mean, obviously, I didn't know what the job all entailed because I didn't have one of those. I was a college athlete, so I can imagine what goes into all that planning, but that was a great experience. Lopez sisters were awesome to work with. We had a lot of fun out in Fargo, and it was a COVID year, so it was a little bit weird, and the travel was kind of a pain in the butt, and kids wearing their masks, and who could room with who, and who was sitting and where everyone on the bus, but a great learning experience.
One thing I regret about your time there is I never made it out there to see you because it was COVID year.
Yeah.
And I think everyone else in the family made it out to Fargo at least once.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've heard nothing about good things about Fargo.
Fargo's
I'm
awesome.
Assuming during COVID it was even.
Well, our good neighbor, Chuck Dockin, North Dakota State, Hornbacher's caramel rolls.
Yeah. Hornbacher's is a staple grocery store out there. But I mean, the Fargo Dome's pretty awesome. The university's awesome. They just built a huge indoor football practice building like a year and a half ago, I think. It was awesome out there.
They've had football rolling for a while.
Yeah, fun to
So
be a part of.
yeah.
And then let's see, last year of NDSU, Virginia, they fired their volleyball staff, and I remember texting Sam maybe in March. I was like, "Oh, what happened to your volleyball staff?" He's like, "I don't know. Tough last 2 years for him. Maybe that's why."
And this would have been like 2021, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
like March
yeah.
2021. I was like, "Oh, yeah." So a month and a half goes by, and Shannon Wells gets hired at Virginia, and Katie Lawyer texted our mom, and
Yep.
she said Katie Lawyer is the mom of foster lawyer that Joe used to play with and live with at Michigan State.
Yep,
And
yep.
she texted my mom and said, "Hey, my great friend Shannon Wells just got hired at Virginia as the volleyball coach, and she's just working on hiring her staff." So that's how I got connected with Shannon and got her phone number from Katie and just said, "Hey, my name's Nicki Hauser. I don't know anything about Virginia volleyball. My brother's graduating from Virginia, so I've been there a few times, and I'm the director of ops with North Dakota State." And had a few phone calls with her, did a Zoom call with her, and she said, "Do you want to come out to Virginia?" So it was a quick turnaround. I moved out to Virginia the weekend that Sam graduated, May of 2021. So mom and dad already had flights out there, so mom canceled her flight and drove with me across the country to Virginia in the little Mazda 3, made it back to Virginia.
I remember that.
Went all the way back to Point just to go back.
Yeah, so been at Virginia since 2021 and been awesome. The last 4 years I've been director of ops of volleyball. Last 2 years I've been director of ops of the UVA wrestling team as well.
Mhm.
So it's been really fun to take on two sports. Definitely wouldn't recommend being a director of ops for two teams your first go around. I think you definitely got to get a handle of what you're doing before you take on another team. But it's been really fun working with both teams.
What's been cool though is this was your third season there, right?
Fourth.
I think every year you guys like kind of just kept getting better and better and better.
Yeah, shout out to Shannon Wells' growth in the program. This was the first time in 25 years that we played a postseason game with Virginia volleyball. We got to host the NIVC, which is basically like the NIT tournament for college volleyball. That was the first postseason game we played since 2000. Been a long time. So, yeah, been really fun to keep getting better every year.
On the come up.
Well, yeah. We got a bunch of questions for you now that we've kind of,
Can you hear a little bit, honey?
Your whole time on here. Is that mom? We kind of pick apart a little bit, but here's a good first one here. Your experience as a player, have you found that kind of has helped you like communicate with girls, being a director of ops or a coach? Like, has that helped you just putting yourself in their shoes a little bit?
Yeah, it almost has helped and hurt me because I think sometimes I don't emphasize as much with them because I played Division II and didn't get all these things that they get. But it definitely helped. I mean, I understand that what they're going through a tough year or going through an injury or just like busy with school and class. I think it's been super useful to have been a student athlete. And you also need someone on your staff that, you know what, sometimes you just need to go and like maybe have a pity party for yourself for a few minutes and just get it out. I don't usually try to let them continue that, but I'm like, get it out. Let's talk about it and then move on. So yeah, definitely been helpful to know what somewhat of their experience has been.
Since you've seen both sides, me and Sam, we can't talk, speak on this. Dad can't because he was only at one level. Like, what's the differences between the Division I volleyball and Division II volleyball? Like facilities, food, travel, just your experience as a player, like you kind of just mentioned.
Yeah, food is a big one. You don't really get fed in Division II.
Dad said they got like $5 on the weekend.
You asked my experience, not Dad's.
Yeah.
Well, we'd get I think $5 in the morning. We pull in a Dunkin' Donuts, so it was you're either gonna get a coffee or you're getting a bagel. You can't get both. $5.
Yeah.
And we'd get a sandwich in the morning. but that was like for the whole day. So you got to ration the sandwich of when you think you can eat this thing, and then but if you wait too long, then it's just gone bad. And then sometimes we get food on the way home, and usually got about $8. So typically, our head coach was Italian. We stopped at Italian places almost every time after a game. She knew the best Italian restaurant
That's
in every place.
Solid.
So
Very
we stopped
solid.
there.
that's ideal, isn't it? I mean,
No, I mean, well, it was great because you get more for your money.
Yeah.
So me and my teammate Jen Dawson would very often combine our money. So we'd have like $16. We'd buy a large pizza. If we had an extra $4, if it was like a little cheaper, there we get garlic. that was that was either the way for the way home, or maybe after the bar after we got home and had a few other activities in the day. So food, big one, different. We didn't do a lot of flying. We had one flying trip down to Florida. We actually paid for our own flights, so that's very different.
Oh,
We paid for our flight to Florida. We didn't have to pay for a hotel, but we all had to pay. We all took the same flight from Hartford down to, I think, Fort Lauderdale was our flight. We paid for those. Our travel gear, we also paid for. So our sweatshirts, sweatpants, zip up jacket, like the travel stuff, we paid for that. It's usually about $150. We get a text from Coach Barbaro midsummer or so. It said, "Hey, Venmo me this much. This is what we're getting this year." And we didn't know any different. We're like, "All right, yeah, okay, we owe $120 for our travel gear." Practice gear, you get 2 t-shirts, 2 spandex for the whole year. You don't get new stuff in the spring. That's your stuff for the year. So we had gray shirt, navy shirt. So practice, if you had 2-a-days, gray in the morning, navy in the afternoon, someone was in charge of equipment. So our gym was separate from the main gym and put all of our equipment in a bag.
take it over.
All the loops are there. Yeah, put all the loops in the bag. Someone better drop off the equipment between
Ooh.
practices. Otherwise, we were not going to have clean clothes for the next morning. We probably got like 3 pairs of socks, I think, maybe a pair of knee pads. Pretty often we bought our own shoes. That's not something that we sometimes got these really awful Nike shoes that they were just like so uncomfortable. So most often we bought our own shoes. So the gear side of things is a totally different than Division One. We had enough. We had what we needed. We didn't complain about it or anything. We didn't know any different, but we also weren't running low. I mean, we had 2 practice shirts. We just needed 2 colors. That part was different. Took a lot of vans, a lot of 5-hour van drives, which is a little bit unheard of in Division One athletics. Not often you're vanning for 5 hours with your 2 coaches driving. And I don't think Coach Barbaro would disagree that sometimes she's a bit of a chaotic driver, but I did ride in her van for all 4.5 years.
I bet your van got to the destination the fastest.
We only had 2 coaches. We had a head coach and assistant coach. We only had 2 drivers.
Guarantees she was a distracted driver.
Sometimes we took a coach bus. It was always
Peter Pan.
Coach bus. I don't know when we took. I don't even remember what trips those were for because we had probably Lemoyne. I think that was like 5.5 hours up to Syracuse area of New York. Our conference, your conference is usually pretty drivable. I mean, it's not like we had to fly to any of our conference games. Usually Division II, Division III, you're pretty drivable to everything. Those are probably the big differences. You don't get any help with academics. You don't have an academic advisor.
That's the part I wouldn't know what to do. Like I never had to apply for or like enroll in classes and like figure out how to work it around our practice schedule. They just they helped us with that. So
we didn't have academic advisor. We didn't get priority registration, so you had to try to figure out your schedule at 6 a.m. with everyone else. So if the class you're trying to take at 8 a.m. instead of the 2:30 during practice, you got to go on the wait list or figure out what that was. So there's no help in that. You do not have help with housing or anything like that. Like no one's helping you find what apartment to live in, where to live in. You're just figuring that out. Yeah. You have time to work jobs. I think I had maybe like 3 or 4 different jobs on campus when I was an athlete, just to help have some extra money with spending money or rent or help mom and dad with my tuition. So you do have time to do some other things. our schedule is pretty similar to Division One. We don't start as quite as early in the second semester in January, and we probably start about the same time in August. During the summer, I mean, you're on your own in the summer. If you want to get better, you're on your like figure it out, find what you're doing. We're a lot of Division One programs. I mean,
That's when you were grounds, right?
Yep, Stevens Point, building the grounds. I mean, I had summer
City
job.
crew.
I could have a job all summer. I mean, compared to like Virginia volleyball, they go home for a couple weeks in May, then you're back on campus all June and July. So if you want to get better in Division Two, Division Three, it's a little bit on you to like hold yourself accountable all year or just figure out what you're doing. Definitely way more hands off, way less people to help you, but I would never trade it for anything because that's how I learned how to figure out everything on my own, is because I had to.
That's how 99% of all other college students do it too. I mean, it's. But
So those are the big differences.
Who do you think has been some of the most impactful, like coaches, people, maybe your mentors that you've had throughout your athletic playing career and just your athletic, involved in athletics throughout your career?
Well, I mean, I gotta shout out Nick. That's my basketball coach. I haven't had a ton of coaches in my life. Well, yeah, a few like summer travel leagues, but I mean, the most impactful have been our dad and Tom Droner, who is my high school softball coach. I still to this day bring this saying to Virginia volleyball because they don't really understand sometimes how to have urgency. So I still tell them it takes no talent to hustle, because that's what was just
Tom
in
Droner.
our head from Tom Droner on my high school softball team. I mean, it's like a life motto. It takes no talent to work hard. You don't have to be good at anything to hustle and work hard. So that stuck with me.
The other phrase he had was fencing back.
That was a classic fourth grade tackle
Fencing
football
back
phrase.
and don't stop until I say we're done. There's a few practices we ran for a long time. I mean, Dad, he still does wise words of the big house. You can see you guys probably pretty wise as a head coach. I don't know if he didn't seem like he never didn't know what to do at the end of the game when there's like 10 seconds left and we need to score a couple points. He just was ready. He had a play ready, written up. He was just looked. I don't know if he was confident in it, but yeah, he had his plan. Knew what he was doing. He made us feel like we were about to win this game. I mean, we had some pretty good teams. We were pretty talented, so it's a few people to work with, some talent to work with, but that's fun.
Yeah, even when you would help out with like, because you never were our high school head coach, but when you were like with our youth teams or AAU teams, like if we didn't have sometimes we didn't have a clipboard, but you'd always have a marker onto it, and it's like you just would write it right on the wood floor right there, like what we're doing, draw up the 3-point line. But like he said, I feel like you always kind of knew like what play we needed to run. We didn't run many plays, but like what just kind of like put the guys in the right spot. That's the best way.
I think the one play that sticks out, Nicki, in your career was the inbounds play against Marshfield, because I believe you're the inbounder and threw it to Morgan Sabula. It rimmed out, and then Taylor Smola had an incredible box out, but we needed the ball to get high enough. And I'm like, Coach Kirkleski goes, she threw it too high. And then Morgan got it, and it was a huge win, and it ended a long win streak.
We're inbounders.
Yeah, inbounders. Yeah.
We're all Hausers are inbounders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
unsung, or I mean, unknown fact, as I am in the leader book.
Was, yeah.
3-point.
At the time, yeah.
I will say,
It's not overlooked that sixth grade state championship from the free throw line.
I don't know if this was inadvertently or not, but I've never seen someone banking on more threes than.
Let's just say the three wasn't maybe like my go-to shot to take, but everyone's had to throw a few up there if I was open.
Baseline rip.
Baseline rip. One dribble, baseline rip.
Nicki was always good for a putback, too, though. He always hustling her to get a putback.
What were kind of the pros and cons of having Dad as your high school coach?
Ooh.
You can.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, we didn't talk about basketball at home. Like, we didn't. There's no like discussion of practice or anything like that. I mostly pros. I think the only cons probably had nothing to do with me. Is like if other people would get mad at dad for something, they for some reason were like mad at me too because
Yeah.
it's my dad who's yelling at them. Or I think I got told once I only play because my dad's the coach, and I was like, let me see you get that many rebounds in a game. So I not really a lot of cons. I think I one time we were having like the best practice. He was kind of mad at us. I accidentally threw the ball right at him and maybe hit him in a bad spot. It didn't help the situation, but good thing it was me because if it was anyone else. So I think I don't know. A few times I talked back to him just because it's my dad. I feel like you can talk back, even though you can't. You shouldn't do that.
Hey, we have to mention that those teams had a lot of success because they were playing some really good competition practices.
Oh, yeah.
Sam's,
Yeah.
8th grade and 7th grade hoops club team. My team when Nicki was like a senior. So Dad knew how to knock out two birds in one stone. It's like, when are we going to schedule this youth practice? Let's have them come up and play the girls.
Yeah. Everybody scrimmage against the girls.
I just wanted to see which ones you guys were going to knock around, like Taylor or catch a Sabula elbow. Nicki wasn't shy about playing a little physical either, so that was good for both sides.
Well, what's funny is Nicki's senior year, I think I was in 7th grade, maybe 8th grade.
7th grade.
7th grade. And Nicki was the best defender. She was your guys' best defender. So every single day, I'm taking the bus to school to go give my sister buckets. Like,
yeah, well, we were innovative. I mean, most college women's team they have a male practice team.
Yeah,
we were innovative. We were ahead of our time.
It was smart.
Yeah,
it was smart.
So,
don't forget though, a couple of those girls shut down Drew Cullen though.
they did.
Cully.
I will say, my group, like, I think we won most of the games that we played. Or like we would do like smaller like situations or something like that. But yeah, Sam's group just dominated you guys. But my group, we were also a year younger. I think you guys were maybe 8th graders. But yeah, you guys definitely, it was pretty evenly matched.
We don't need to beat around it. We got torched by Sam's team.
Yeah,
we probably lost by 40 every time we had to play a real game.
Yeah.
It was good for you guys.
I mean, you guys lost like what 3 games in all high school after Sam's freshman year. It wasn't like you were a bad team.
Sports question we got for you, Nicki. What was venue you've played at and or coached at?
I mean, outside of Mem Gym and JPJ at Virginia.
Shout out, Mem.
Mem Gym's pretty cool. But actually, volleyball, I'll go John Paul Jones Arena. That was a really awesome. Out of the ACC atmospheres, there's not like incredible volleyball atmospheres. I think that was really cool. We hosted the first ever volleyball game there. But my favorite so far has been with the UVA wrestling team. We competed on the USS Yorktown aircraft this past November down in Charleston, cool. South Carolina. That was incredible. The sun was going down, playing the national anthem. There's planes out on the plane deck, 4 wrestling mats out there. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to deal with the wind factor of like a basketball game playing.
Yeah, the only problem we had, it got really humid, so the mats got wet.
Slippery,
we actually had they canceled the second round of matchups, so we only wrestled one duel on there. It was unsafe. I mean, you can't wrestle on like a wet mat, but it was
a little greasy.
Now this is a little bit of like a fan question, but apparently you are kind of, as a self-proclaimed, one of the best pub/bar night trivia night team name.
That might be in Charlottesville, Virginia. So I do a lot of pub trivia team names.
How do you develop, these best names that we've heard about? What's the secret behind this?
I mean, it's like you just write down things that you hear every once in a while, like a movie quote, funny Instagram caption, like a one-liner someone says. I'm like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Did you want a few examples? Or
this is a kid-friendly show, just so you know.
It's bar trivia, so there's a little sometimes you got to be a little bit.
There's kids running around bars.
Absolutely.
Parents, so yeah.
So I think we've used Just Bops, No Kids. Let's see. Shake Your Ass for Cole's Cash.
Ooh, I like that one.
Catchy.
Yeah.
We've
There you go.
said ass before.
Yeah, this one's maybe not as kid friendly. But this is really funny to hear them announce us in first place was we're not a basketball team, but we do have a Magic Johnson.
Winner right there.
Hey, the thing is, you got to be confident you're going to win, so it gets announced.
Yeah. We was like
That is one of the better ones.
call Amazon, we're in our prime. It's just like the
Slick,
little
yeah.
one-liners that are catchy. They're gonna make people laugh. But even when you're in
The
last
Magic
place,
Johnson one is awesome.
I can imagine. And in first place, they are not a basketball team, but they have a Magic Johnson. I mean, the place, everyone, you got to get people laughing.
Grandpa Hauser knew how to log into this portion of the show. He'd appreciate that stuff right there.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, usually I send my group a few options of team names. I just said, I'm like, here's some options we came up with this week, and I just let them pick
Love
what
it.
they want.
That's awesome.
Well,
Shout out to
yeah.
Joe K.
Yeah.
He usually picks a day for a trivia, but I coordinate the naming of the team.
This is a question from Joe K, right? This next one?
Yeah, Joe K.
Oh, we got fan question.
Yeah,
All right.
good question. Yeah,
Just personal fan questions this time. But before we get into our top three, we got a question for everybody. What is one non-mainstream sport championship you would like to attend?
Oh,
Do you want me to start to kind of give you an idea?
Sure.
No doubt about it, World's Strongest Man competition.
oh,
Isn't that a sport?
No,
non-mainstream sport.
Mainstream. Oh.
Yeah.
So
okay.
think outside of basketball, hockey,
Like
soccer, baseball.
My
Those
YouTube
is golf too mainstream?
Golf's
now?
mainstream. Yeah.
All right.
That's a really good
You
question.
should.
I mean,
It's a really good answer.
Yeah.
I thought.
I would like to go to the pumpkin chucking thing when they shoot them distance. Yep.
Is that a sport?
Non-mainstream. It's on one of the channels once every they have it. It's pumpkin chunking. Yeah.
Well, I see Nicki's answer right here.
What is it? Yeah.
Nikki, what's your?
I think mine would be. Well, I first said Kentucky Derby because I figured horse racing's non-mainstream. That event is mainstream,
Just that one,
but the
yeah.
sport is not mainstream.
Yeah.
So I said that first. If that's considered too mainstream, I would like to see the American Ninja Warrior.
That's
finale.
solid. Yeah.
That'd be fun. Is NASCAR too mainstream?
Yeah.
The Indy 500 is.
All right.
I mean, but like even with
All right,
horses, though, like the Kentucky Derby, Indy 500 are like two of the top sport events.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't just see a horse race every week.
It'd be cool just to go just
be cool.
see a horse race. Maybe not to Kentucky.
Are we naming three or just one? Oh,
Just one. We're just doing one.
I'd probably say either like the Coney Island hot dog contest or I don't even know if this is a sport, but I just came across like a Sasquatch call competition.
That's right after the pumpkin chucking.
Yeah.
Another one I kind of thought of, honorable mention for me would be, I forget what the is it like ESPN 8 or
The Ocho.
whatever the
Yeah.
bag
The Ocho.
Ocho.
Yeah, but the bag
Dodgeball.
toss
ACL? Cornhole?
Cornhole, yeah. They put it in the hole every time.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
They put their Magic Johnson in the hole.
We're not a basketball team, but I guess my other one would be, because we played a lot of this when I was a kid, would be the wiffle ball championship.
Oh,
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That would be
that would
fun.
be really
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Good question.
Oh, Dad, actually, the cliff diving championship was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Red Bull, right?
That was
Red Bull.
pretty incredible.
That's like Red Bull, right?
Yeah, the Red Bull cliff dive. I mean, that thing is
Yeah, they're up there.
ledge is so high.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. We already saw that one though, so it's not one I
I
haven't
just
seen.
think of like.
I guess
okay.
this is way off where we're kind of like, we've never been to one of these, but I wouldn't mind going to like a bull riding one just to see that live, like to see how big those bulls are and how fast they toss those dudes off of there.
Oh yeah.
That would be intense.
That would be
What's the the ski jump one. What do they
This-
call that?
yeah.
They're like, is it ski jumping?
Yeah. See how high they really are?
Well, the one where they just like look
Slalom jump?
You ever seen that? You ever seen the Red Bull thing where like those people they like craft their own airplane and they run off like the thing they hold on and see how far they can go. It's a Red Bull event as well. I don't know, it might have-
They land in the water.
I think that's what they call it. Yeah, Red Bull gives
Yeah.
Good question though by Joe K. So moving on to our top 3, we got some good categories here. First one, top 3 favorite vacations or places that we visited as family. So it doesn't have to be like a full vacation. Could it be just somewhere along that we visited, did something as a family?
Everybody, who's jumping out first?
Nicki's
I
got it.
can go first.
Sure.
So I really liked our family trip to New York City. Had a lot of fun out there. It was like our first time really going through New York, doing a touristy things. I'll go Memphis, Tennessee, Sam's AU tournament back when he was maybe like 9, I think.
Yeah, that
Great
was
time.
very
I
young.
gotta go to.
We went to didn't we go to Central Barbecue, I think?
Well, we went.
Yeah, we definitely
Good
did. We
part
definitely
too.
did.
Got to see
Yeah.
the Pink Palace. A few other things. It was a fun trip.
Mhm.
I like those AAU trips. I didn't do a whole lot except for get to do fun stuff
Yeah,
on
we
those.
did the MLK thing.
Yeah,
right?
I was on there. And then driving home from Florida, one of the times we drove home, we made a pit stop in Kiln, Mississippi, which is the home of Brett Favre. We drove through Southern Miss. We saw the Brett Favre statue by his high
Statue, yeah.
school. Stopped at maybe his old stomping grounds of the Broke Spoke that we probably should not have gone into as like 12-year-old, 9-year-old,
Yeah.
and like 8-year-old. But and then I think honorable mention I'll just give to Eagle River because we did a lot of trips to Eagle River
Yeah.
and stayed at the cabin. Did a lot of boating, fishing up there. Those were fun trips.
Well, I could go next year. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I do have them in order, best to worst here. Mexico, our first trip when we went to Puerto Vallarta, it was the best week of eating food, meals to my knowledge. I mean, the meals at that because usually sometimes the all-inclusive resort, meals aren't necessarily top-notch because you're getting them for free, but this spot was unbelievable. Number 2, underground cave zip lining in Louisville.
I don't remember. When did
you
you
remember?
do this? I did not
Was
do
Nicki
that.
there?
I think Nicki was in college.
Nicki went there one year. She might not have been there the next year.
I don't think she was there the year we went. The
Yeah.
cliff.
I think it's the only underground zip lining tour like in America. It was super cool. And then last one would be Newport Beach, a vacation we took this past summer. Just was super relaxing. Loved it.
All right, my turn here.
Yeah.
Let's see. I put New York. Vividly remember the wax museum. That was a good. Yeah.
There's a picture of me caressing Jessica Simpson's
Yeah.
magic
That
jet.
like the naked cowgirls in Times
Yeah.
Square. Florida was number 2 for me, and then Mexico was also on mine. That was a fun time. That was also like our first time out of the U.S. I
Yeah.
think so.
I was
that
a little
also
unsure
like
at
a
first
very
when
cool
we got there.
experience.
We had to get our passports for that one. First
Yeah.
time getting
So
passports.
that was fun. I remember I got a massage on the beach, directly in the sun,
No.
and the lady used like baby oil, so I was like on fire.
You're just frying.
Yeah.
I drank so many Virgin Miami Vices.
I'm a little. Everybody kind of mentioned New York, but nobody mentioned the stop at Niagara Falls on the way home.
Yeah.
That is all part of the trip. It's all encompassing.
We were there like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys checked them all. I just would say we did do some camping a couple times. We took our boat up north, so that was the Twin Bridges up there because Grandma and Grandpa used to go still then, and then Uncle Dave and all that, and Eagle River, and then just any trip we were all going together, whether it was Nicki's tournament or AU. Mexico was good. Yeah, it was a good trip. Yeah, you guys are all older that time. We'd have to keep track of it all the time. Yeah, it was good.
Dad, how How many Cracker Barrels did you think we stopped at when we used to drive on our trips and
Well, yeah. I mean, especially when we were going south, we get south there a little bit, Indiana and Kentucky. You know, it was
that Florida trip. It probably was the over/under is probably at like 7.5 on that.
Yeah, it was
drive.
It was easy. It was good, and then Cracker Barrel.
Just keep Joey away from the sweet tea,
Yeah.
otherwise we're gonna
Every
5 minutes.
Every 2 minutes.
No bathroom breaks for an hour, 7 hours once we get in the car. Yeah, it was good.
Next top 3, we got top 3 walk-up song choices. I like this category.
Shout out myself. I thought it was a good top 3.
Well, why don't you start us off, Nicki? It was your category. You got
All
some
right.
good ones.
First, I'll start with Can't Tell Me Nothing by Kanye West. Got a great intro. Kind of reminds me of The Hangover as well.
Yeah.
Second, this one's kind of a shout out to JD
Ooh.
Gavin because this was kind of her song in middle school.
JD's Stenell now, please refer to her correct name.
Well, but it was JD Gavin's theme song.
Without Me by Eminem. Because, I mean, imagine walking up to, like, Bat. It's like, guess who's back? Back again. Yeah, that's going. And then last one, this would be my favorite one, is Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project. I think we watched Michael Jordan to the max, like, no less than 50 times.
That's a good
that
one.
is like the Chicago Bulls in walkout song.
It's literally the Michael Jordan song.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I can top that one.
That's a good one. That's a good choice. Every time they play that when we play Chicago, I get
that's cool. We play it at Spash sometimes now. We introduce teams. Yeah, we start it low for the visiting team, and then they get it going louder and louder. And actually, they do a pretty good job with it.
Sam, what's your top 3?
I got In the Air Tonight, Phil Collins, When the Bass Drops. You can take that one. Number 2, Hell's Bells, AC/DC. And then number 3, Mo Money, Mo Problems by B.I.G.
That's a good one.
And then honorable mention was Dark Fantasy by Kanye West.
Yeah, that's good.
That's also in The Hangover.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Joey. No, your turn.
All right. Paradise City, Guns N' Roses. Daddy will appreciate that. Yeah. Thunderstruck, AC/DC. When they did that at Marquette during our pregame tip, that always
we did.
Awesome. Last one is It Was a Good Day, Ice Cube. Then my honorable mention is Ass Like That by Eminem.
Well, you got. I don't think any of you played for in high school when there was a pep band, did you? Well, you weren't there all the time though. Like in the '80s, it was like mandatory.
Yeah, well,
our band played for some of the games.
They came every like big game.
I played for a couple of Sam's games in high school.
So I've got Van Halen, Jump, AC/DC, Back in Black.
I said I was going to be surprised if no one.
And then my favorite pep band song of all time is a song called "The Horse."
You know that one, Nicki?
How does it intro?
You're gonna have to look it up. Not giving it out.
Well, I sang part of one of mine. You probably give us a little number.
We should do a top 3 pep band songs.
Louis.
Smoke on the Water's got to be unanimous.
What's more, it's like
it's Crazy Train. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That was classic.
Yeah, there's some good pep bands.
In the Air Tonight, though, the drum, though, that's kind of there. That's big time.
It's long build up, though.
Well, you'll just time it right. They got technology for that now.
It's like the 2-minute 50-second.
Yeah.
Well, Nicki, we appreciate you finally coming on. We've talked about you a lot. We admire everything you're doing and everything you have done. I mean, like we said, you for myself, all I've done is just basketball. Obviously, been at some cool spots, but you've had a chance to really, dip your hand in different spots and coaching, director of operations and where you played. And so I really just kind of always have admired that about you, that you kind of just take whatever opportunity is next and you run with it and you make it the best that it's going to be. So
For sure.
Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you coming on.
All right. That wraps it up.